Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals publish to inform their consumers, to grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. We're doing a series of spotlights on remarkable attorneys across the country that have a focus on elder law and estate planning. And joining me on this segment from Wisconsin is Dan Krause. Dan, welcome to the program.
Hi, Mark. Thanks very much.
I understand that elder law and estate planning are broad subjects. So kindly tell us a little bit about your areas of focus and the types of clients that you serve.
So we like at Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center, we like to focus on elders and their loving families, and we try to help them save their life savings, their nest egg, from the possible costs of nursing home or assisted living care, which can overwhelm many families at the end of life.
I know that elder law is sort of an evolution of estate planning. How did this come about, and why is there not enough information out there and people sort of are unaware of it?
I think it's just because the focus in estate planning has always been, at least up till recently, the estate tax. People were so worried about the estate tax and that was the boogeyman that was going to come to get them at the end of life. But the truth of the matter is, and how it's played out, is that what's going to come after your assets is not the estate tax. It's more likely going to be the cost of care at the end of life. Because unfortunately, we don't have a great system for end of life care for most people in this country. It comes out of your pocket, and people don't realize that. They don't think about it. It's not publicized until they reach their 60s or 70s, where it may be too late for them to get insurance that could cover long-term care. It just becomes too expensive if you wait too long. So you're right, it is an evolution. Estate planning for young people starts out generally with planning for their young children. If something should happen to the parent, you want to make sure that the young children are covered. But at the end of life, as it evolves, you're more worried about having something for your own security if you should end up in a nursing facility, or wanting to just give a little something to your kids after you've passed away. Many people really find that important to them.
So, this recent pandemic has put a huge spotlight on the gap or the need for elder law and estate planning. What types of challenges have you heard mostly recently?
Well, in the pandemic, it's changed the way that we communicate, obviously, using things like Zoom, like we're using today, but also people who have hearing problems or sight problems or problems with technology, which a lot of people in the elder category have. It's made it very, very difficult for some people to do any kind of planning. We've had cases where we go to assisted living facilities, and we have to hand the documents in through to the care worker who presents it to the person. Then we have to watch them through the window as they sign. So sometimes it's difficult to communicate about the contents of the documents. That's the most frustrating thing for me. Um, but it's also opened up venues for us to help people in far-flung areas. So if somebody is many miles away from me, like we're several miles apart, but we can still talk here, I can still help people from south to north in Wisconsin. I'm also licensed in Illinois and Minnesota, so I can reach even further and help more people than I used to be able to because of the evolution of being able to communicate like this through the video.
When you talk to a young person about estate planning, I think a huge misconception is they think, "Oh, I don't need that. I don't have anything yet. I'm too young." Is that really the case, or when is it too soon to start thinking about your estate?
You know, I've done a lot of estate planning for young people, and I wanted to tell you most of that has been because I was involved in the military. I'm retired from the Army Reserves as of now, but part of my military duty, a big part since 9/11, was to do wills, powers of attorney, and estate planning for young people as they were getting ready to ship out. So I would be part of the attorney focus that they would go through different stations, and the attorney station was one, and they would have an option to do estate planning there. We would do simple wills for them, but the biggest part, well, there's two parts. One part is to name who is going to take care of your kids if something happens to you. The second part that people don't realize that's very important is to make sure that your life insurance or your assets are not given to your child when they turn 18. 18-year-olds with money can be very dangerous for that 18-year-old and, for the money. Both of them could disappear because of um, just not managing money right and going a little crazy. I know that when I was 18, I would not have been trusted, or I should not have been trusted with a couple $100,000 or more. So helping the soldiers and now helping individuals, younger individuals, plan for their life insurance or their assets to be held by their parents or by a trusted brother or sister or another trusted person until their child reaches an age which they choose. More commonly now, that age is 25. So if you have young children, estate planning is very important. If you are 18 or 19, if you're going off to college, estate planning is not quite as important, but it is really important to do some sort of powers of attorney. So if something happens to you, your parents will be able to make decisions for you about your health care and your finances, just in case something happens. Now, God forbid anything does happen, but it's like they say, if you carry an umbrella, it's not going to rain. If you do estate planning, nothing's going to happen to you. So use it as a kind of a shield.
Thank you for your service. And you mentioned sort of some myths or misconceptions of how young people might think of this. Are there any other big myths or misconceptions out there that might keep people from properly preparing and getting their ducks in a row?
Well, it's possible. There's a lot of misconceptions about many legal topics, and estate planning is no exception there. But people sometimes they hear a lot about probate. Probate is the process that happens after somebody dies and you have to transfer their assets. They believe that if they have a will, then they've planned and they don't have to go through probate, or their family will not have to go through probate if they die. That is a misconception that I want to just tell you. A will is not a way to get out of probate. It is actually a ticket to probate. Wills are not even effective until they've gone into the probate court and the probate court has stamped off on those. So that's one misconception. Another misconception is that somebody who's close to you can just make medical decisions for you if you are unable. That's not the case. They do not allow you to make medical decisions for another person, even if that person is your adult child or your spouse, up to a certain point. So if you do have feelings, which many people do, that you don't want to be kept alive using heroic means or just being permanently in a coma, uh, if you want the ability to pull the plug, you really need to put that down in writing. That is a fairly rare case these days, but other healthcare decisions, if you are not capable of making them, is very common. And if you haven't made those plans, if you haven't done documents, then nobody really has the ability to make those for you. So that's another common misconception, is that a close relative can just make decisions for you. Once you've reached the age of 18, nobody can do that unless you have given them the ability in writing.
Dan, elder law and estate planning is a very specialized field of knowledge. What inspired you to choose this field? How did you get started?
Um, I don't know what it is about my personality, but I like dealing with older people. Now I'm getting older myself, but I started out when I was in my late 20s and I got my law license helping my grandparents with estate planning, and it was fun for me. I enjoyed it. And even though it's not fun when you're dealing with the aftermath of somebody passing away, it's satisfying to know that their plans that they had made are going to come to fruition, that they're going to happen. And the only way that they can happen a lot of times is if they've written it down and they have signed, sealed, delivered with witnesses and notarization, and they've done it right. Otherwise, it just goes according to the law. And I like being able to help people to have peace of mind that they have made the right plans and things are going to happen the way they want them to.
Dan, for folks listening that are in states that you can serve, how do they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
So you can always find us on Google, and my name is Krause, and the law firm has my name, Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. Our phone number is a 608-268-5751, and on the web we are at friendly.law. So if you just type into your browser friendly.law, you'll find us on the web.
This has been terrific. I appreciate you taking the time and sharing your insights with my audience today, Dan, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you very much, Mark. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Dan Krause from out of Wisconsin, friendly.law. And this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals publish to inform their consumers, to grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for tuning in.